Hey VC, it's Danny. Finally back to make a bit of a haul video. A few weeks ago, myself, Andrew from Tales from the Crate, Dave, Local Bandography, Alex, Motoric 247, Sherv at Julius Jabbar, and Jim at Rufus, uh, and a couple other people who I don't know as well. We all kind of met up. Dave flew out from North Carolina to LA, and we all met up at Amoeba and went on an epic dig, and then followed it up at Freak Beat in Sherman Oaks. It was an amazing dig. I'm sure some of you have seen some of the videos that Sherv and Alex and Dave already made. So I'm just gonna try to blow through the haul here as quickly as I can, and yeah, there's a lot to get through. So, first things first is Andrew showed up with a pile of records for me. He was incredibly generous. He's always generous, but just I kind of never ceases to amaze me. I can't even show them all because there's so many, but just to give you a taste, things like this: John Lee Hooker, "Don't Turn Me From Your Door," which is a phenomenal blues record, just prime John Lee Hooker. I mean, I think I've heard Andrew say before that for him it's up there with "Serves You Right to Suffer." I think that's absolutely fair. Just an incredible record. So thank you, Andrew. Um, I had mentioned to him before the dig, weeks before the dig, that I was disappointed in some of the prices I was seeing for Waylon Jennings records on eBay. I thought they were way too high. So Andrew just showed up with a whole collection. Got Lonesome, Ornery, and Mean. Only the Greatest here, which I believe has Only Daddy That'll Walk the Line. Great track. Um, Waylon Jennings and the Kimberleys. This is great early Waylon. You really get to hear kind of his chicken picking and just kind of where he started, the Nashville sound Waylon before the Outlaw era. I've Always Been Crazy, pure, unadulterated Outlaw era Waylon. And his medley to Buddy Holly, one of his big heroes on here. Don't You Think This Outlaw Bit's Done Got Out of Hand, which is another great story song, a Waylon song. And Heartaches by the Numbers. Just yeah, incredible. Incredible stuff. So generous. And of course, somehow that's not all. Some big surprises in here. I believe this is a UK copy. Roy Harper, Folk Jokopus. One of my big Harper wants. I'm a big Roy Harper fan. Somebody Andrew and I have talked about on many of our digs, and this is great. This early Roy Harper, and you know his signature sound is there, but you can hear him forming it. It's great. It's just a great UK folk record. And Life Mask, which with this great, kind of, I don't know what to call that, but this is a wonderful cover. With a lot of Roy Harper records, because I don't want to say I discovered him on vinyl, but I've really been moving through his catalog while I collect his records. I kind of wait until I found them to listen to them, and Life Mask was a huge payoff for that. Highway Blues, All Ireland, Little Lady, Bank of the Dead, South Africa. Just great stuff. I think this is pretty accessible, while still really highlighting Harper's signature sound. I think this is another UK copy, or at least it's a Harvest copy. I'm always happy to get something on the Harvest label, a beautiful label. There's so much. And this is all, as I said, still just from Andrew. I don't know what I did to deserve this kindness, but I kind of owe him forever. Uh, this is one that I had asked him to help me find, and I mean, he came through in such a huge way. John Prine's first record. You know, when John Prine passed, the price on his records just went through the roof, and I really regretted that I had been waiting around to find the cleanest copies I could and not picking up every $5 copy I saw. And, Andrew just came through with this beautiful, gorgeous copy of the first record. Illegal Smile, Hello in There, Sam Stone. I mean, that's side one. Angel from Montgomery, Donald and Lydia is on here. Just, I mean, I don't know that there are many stronger debuts. Certainly not for a singer-songwriter. An incredible record from, one of the best, just one of the best. Don't need any more qualifiers than that. John Prine. For those who love him, you know. Again, somehow it doesn't stop there. Did me the Young Lions on VJ. Just a hell of a. I mean, the Young Lions is so right. Lee Morgan, Wayne Shorter, Frank Strozier, Bob Cranshaw, Bobby Timmons, Louis Hayes, and Albert Heath. This just swings all the way through. It's phenomenal. I don't know what to say. This is an incredible record. Just a great record. Mostly Wayne Shorter tunes on here. One by Bobby Timmons and one by Lee Morgan. And front to back, this record is a killer. And I was going to say I'll wrap up what Andrew gave me, but I can't because there's one that's so good I have to show it. The Buzzcocks, Another Music in a Different Kitchen, United Artists. I mean, it's one thing for your buddy to gift you records, but to gift you these records, this if I had gone out and found this record in our dig, I would have been happy to pay whatever it was listed at, and for Andrew to just gift it to me, I really don't know how to thank him, or I don't know. And to top it all off, a record that I've seen Andrew highlight before that I was so excited to get. I'd had my eye out for it. I added it to my want list, but hadn't really come across a copy yet, and no better way to get it. And one of the big highlights of the day for me. This is Don Covey and the Jefferson Lemon Blues Band, The House of Blue Lights. This is just kind of everything I love wrapped into one package. It's a solid blues record. I mean, these are blues songs, but they're played with soul and with funk, and there's just, it seems to be no area of roots music or music that's touched by roots music that is off limits on this record, and yet it all sounds completely natural. For people who love country funk, I think this is an incredible record. It has that same blend, and it's amazing how firmly the songs are blues songs and how expansive the palette seems. Just a back to front killer, easily one of the best records that came my way on this dig. And so again, thank you, Andrew. This pile would have been more than enough. I mean, if I went out to the shop and came home with these records, I would have been thrilled. Incredible generosity, and it is deeply appreciated, and I've been really loving these records. So that was just the hi hello, and then we made our way over to Amoeba, and Andrew and I walked in, and we just kind of started wandering the store, taking it all in, the new location, and looking up on the wall and seeing what we could find. We both found George Ben records in the back movie section, and asked for them to be held up at the front. When you take a record down off the wall at Amoeba, they hold it for you at the front desk. And that was our start, and then we made our way over to the jazz section, and that's where we found everybody. And it was amazing because, just within minutes, well, Sherv gave me a hug when I saw him, which was awesome. And Alex, everybody was all smiles, but I just saw Alex leafing through his pile, and it was, it sounds obvious, I guess, but it was such an Alex pile. It was just like, it was full of these obscure, interesting records that seemed so exotic and like, these, I would never cross paths with these records, but of course they were at Amoeba. They were sitting right there. So that was just my first big impression when I got there, was like, it's not that these collectors that we all follow, all of our friends in the VC, it's not that anybody has any particular luck in terms of where they live. It's that their interests and their tastes attract the music that they like to them. Again, maybe this is an obvious point that the people we follow on the VC like the music they like, and they find the music they find. But I don't know, that really struck me. It's just that, like, it's not that Amoeba has a certain set of records. It's that if you set Alex loose in Amoeba, if you set Sherv loose in Amoeba, they will find the type of music that we associate with them, that we find so interesting. And so that was just my first big impression. And then my eyes flew up to the wall after saying hi to Dave and everybody. Flew up to the wall in the jazz section and immediately landed on a big want list record for me. Bobby Hutcherson and Harold Land, San Francisco. As you can see, it's a Van Gelder Liberty Press. Sorry for the sound there. As I said, this is a record I've really been wanting for a long time. It's United Artists Press. It just, it's everything I want. I've been listening to a lot of Joe Henderson, Milestone era. I've been, I guess, kind of dipping my toe into jazz funk, a bit of fusion, and that free-ish improvisation over a steady, funky groove has just become such a sweet spot, and this record has it in spades. It just an incredible rhythm section. Who we got here? We got Bobby Hutcherson, Harold Land on Bobby Hutcherson on vibes, obviously. Harold Land on tenor sax, Joe Sample on piano and electric piano, John Williams on bass, and Mickey Roker on drums. And that rhythm section just finds these grooves and locks in and just drives the songs, and Hutcherson and Land really dance around each other improvising, and it goes from tuneful and danceable almost to pretty somewhat free and a little bit out there. As Sherv pointed out to me when he said it to me, I had actually only listened to the first side, but when you get to the second side of the record, Joe Sample has hooked up his electric piano to like a wah pedal, and he's getting effects that almost sound guitar-like. This is just an incredible record. As I said, one I had really, really been wanting to find, and that was, one of the very first things I found in Amoeba, which was just a thrill. And then this was the second thing I found as I was asking for help to get that Bobby Hutcherson down off the wall. I looked up and spotted this Andrew Hill, the music of Andrew Hill, and immediately asked for this to be taken down as well. And as if I needed any more omens that this was going to be a great dig, I mean, between the pile from Andrew and that Bobby Hutcherson find, as I pulled this down, I noticed this stamp here on the back cover. And I don't know if you'll be able to read it, but it's Daniel E. Auden, from Flushing, New York, in Queens. And I have other records from him. I didn't realize actually how many other records I had from him, but they're all from Amoeba, and so they're from years I've been picking them up, so they must just be slowly rolling out this collection. I think this was the first one I found, my copy of The Kicker by Joe Henderson on Milestone. It's a green label, and there's the Daniel Auden sticker. He took wonderful care of his records, and he has phenomenal taste. Then one of I guess the last time Andrew and I went, one of the very first records I pulled off the wall then was this copy of In Pursuit of Blackness by Joe Henderson, also on Milestone, also from the same collection. And another record I got on that trip was this Sonny Murray on BYG-XUL, and it's stamped inside there. So yeah, it was pretty cool to come home and realize I actually had 3 other records from this same collection. And, so now I've got... Thank you, Daniel Auden, for having such great taste and taking such good care of your records. I will keep them together and cherish them. But yeah, this Andrew Hill record is just, it's great. It's as a fan of Andrew Hill, his first couple are beautiful, accessible. He gets pretty out there, and this is really nicely rides the line. It's exploratory and experimental. It's reaching, but it's tuneful and grounded in its way as well. The tension of his compositions and his music is really there in spades. This is John Gilmore on tenor sax, Bobby Hutcherson on vibes, Andrew Hill on piano, Richard Davis on bass, which always wonderful, and Joe Chambers on drums. I need to put more time in with this one, but the listens I've given it have been very, very, very happy. Yeah, so those were my first 2 big finds in Amoeba, and again, if that was all I found, I would have been thrilled. But kind of keeping it in the jazz section, Andrew handed this one over to me. One I'd been wanting, one I'd been looking for. Nice clean copy on ECM of Circle, Anthony Braxton, Chick Corea, Dave Holland, and Barry Elchel. Kind of searching, free jazz, but beautiful. A live performance, a live recording. Just a really great record. It came with a pretty much a you should buy this recommendation from Andrew, which is good enough for me. Never steered me wrong. And then right after that, I was looking through the Sam Rivers section. I pulled this one out, showed it to Andrew, said, "What do you think of this one?" He said, "There are no bad Sam Rivers records." And yeah, this was a great one. And then I had that vetted when Sherv saw it. He was like, "Oh, it's a good one. It's a really good record. It's a white label promo," which is a neat little bonus. But yeah, this has got the same kind of funky vibe. Dave Holland and Barry Elchel are also on here. Warren Smith on drums, Ted Dunbar on guitar. Just grooves and rhythms that really lock in and stick. There's a bit of a Latin vibe to some of this. And then Sam Rivers, very searching, exploratory, free-ish kind of playing on top. Just another great record. Super happy to find it. Yeah, and man, what else? So the jazz section was, all my big scores for the day really came out of there, and then everybody was really having kind of a field day in the world section, which was cool because often the world section is the one that I go to alone, or when I'm digging by myself, it's not a section that seems to be crowded usually, and I can just kind of go pick it over. But with Dave and Andrew and Sherv and Alex and Jim, it was like the world section was crowded and everybody was there, and it was really great. And there was this wonderful collection of Okora records, and I grabbed this immediately, along with a couple other records which I can't show because I got them to gift my father, which was really cool. I sent him home with those. But yeah, I almost put this back, and Dave looked at me and looked at this, and he was like, "This is exactly your wheelhouse. What are you doing? You have to get this." And that was really the reminder I needed. So I put it back in the cart, made some other choices. Unfortunately, I did have to put back two that Dave recommended, based solely on the fact that they're in print currently, and I can still get them, and I will get them very soon. But I was a little bummed about that, but I was very, very happy that he encouraged me to not leave this behind. This was one of the big surprises of the day. I find on a big dig like this, it's almost never the record I'm the most excited about leaving the shop that is the one that blows my hair back the most at home. Maybe just because where my expectations are set, but beautiful performances, beautiful recording, great liner notes. I mean, the Okora label, I've been on the lookout for a while since Rob, we used to have a channel called Sound Strange, was highlighting it, and they're not easy to come by, and I was really thrilled to find that one. Yeah, so also in that world section, I found this Alcabar Gignor Lapay. This is on Mississippi Records and Say Health Sounds. I collect Mississippi Records. I think it's one of the best labels going. This is kind of folky, bluesy, African rock. If you've listened to any of that music, it's got the kind of dancing melodies. I don't know how to put it. Lots of slapback echo, and it just seems like the melodies kind of just bounce along, and they're full of air and life and joy. This record really has that in spades, and so I was happy to grab that one. And in the blues section, I was lucky to find another Mississippi Records gospel comp, In the Storm So Long. This is all kind of a long time want for me. Just wonderful, kind of probably originally released as private label or small 7 inches. Lady singers of Estill, South Carolina, Evangelist Loretta Miles, Abraham Brothers, Golden Tones of Savannah, Georgia, White Family of Savannah, Georgia. These would have been private press, local gospel releases, and it's just a fiery, wonderful, incredible comp. So very, very happy to find that. Oh, what else? Let's see. So let's go over to the rock section, I guess. Looking in the new releases of the rock section, and another one, Andrew was sitting next to me, and he pulled this out and he handed it to me. This is King Kong and the Shrines, the supreme genius of King Kong and the Shrines. And Andrew said, not only is this a great record, but this is a great price. You're not gonna, it doesn't go for this price, basically. And I'm very happy I brought this home. It's like kind of psyched out throwback punk in a way. I put it on and I was like, oh, okay, this is like related to the Black Lips. And then I went and read the back cover, and there's a little write-up from the dude from the Black Lips. It's just full of energy, full of life. It's the kind of punk it's not necessarily like thrashing, nasty, aggressive, but there's just something about the energy of the music that makes it punk, similar to maybe even the Pogues or something. And there is kind of this throwback, psyche, fuzzed out vibe to it. I don't know, it's hard to describe, but it's a great record. Really great songs, great singing, great performances. high energy, great rock, just with an edge. It's wonderful. What else? Okay. Then this isn't necessarily the order I found them, but well, again, over while I was over there in the rock section, took a little dig through the Bonnie Prince Billy section. Any longtime followers will know I'm slowly trying to complete the discography. It was a Sisyphusian effort, but found a Bonnie Prince Billy used, which is how I like to pick them up, save a little money. This is Pond Scum, BBC recordings starting in '94, I want to say. Yeah, there's one session from '94, and there's a session from '01 and a session from '02. Just great. I'm stunned at Bonnie Prince Billy, at how I just continue to find something interesting, even in the throwaway tracks. He's just a great folk singer, great interpreter of song, great lover of music. I guess that's what it is. I think his love of music is pure, and he kind of, it never seems like he loses sight of it. It always seems to be that he's creating music for himself, for his own love and appreciation. And just since we're on the topic, these are the absolute last things I found at Amoeba. I was on my way out, and I looked over. One of the things I was hoping to find was Larry John Wilson. I didn't find any Larry John Wilson in the country section, but I did find this 7-inch single, Bonnie Prince Billy, singing a Larry John Wilson song. It's a split with the Black Swans, who I wasn't familiar with before, but Bonnie Prince Billy doing Bertrand, My Son. And it's a live one, so it's got a great little introduction from Bonnie Billy. Just happy to pick that up. I collect the 7 inches as well as the full lengths and the 12-inch singles. I mean, I'm really, it's insane to try to pick up all his music because he releases so much, but it's fun. It's fun to have such a vast catalog to look through. And then this was a cool one, Bonnie Prince Billy, with a little misspelling on Prince. This is from the excuse me. It's from the Palace Music days, early stuff. One with the Birds. Again, even doesn't matter how far back I go, I keep finding interesting things in his discography. And I should say, I mean, you'd have to be a super fan to really get into all this music. I certainly wouldn't recommend just buying everything and anything from Bonnie Prince Billy. I know Andrew was looking for some, and he was, I think, rightly looking for some specific records, Master and Everyone, some of the older ones. There are definite highlights, there are definite, like, if you only get one record, there'd be a good short list to get, but I'm having fun going the other way with it anyway. And then over in the, I don't even know, I don't know what the sections are necessarily anymore, but wherever they keep Nina Simone, I found this record, Nina Simone, Nina's Back. It's a very clever pun on that cover. This was sealed, which made me a little nervous, but I've really been wanting this for a long time. This is Nina's 80s production record. This would have been a comeback, I guess, after a pretty tough period in her life. I think it's one of the very last records she made, and she's angry on this record, and you can hear it. And that anger really cuts through the cheesy, synthy 80s production, which we don't have time here, but I have lots of opinions about 80s production. How it's not actually as bad as everybody makes it out to be. But anyway, yeah, I don't know. There's this is funky and soulful, and the anger brings just kind of a righteous intensity to the record, and you have to be in the right mood. I mean, I don't always want to hear angry late period Nina Simone against garish, shiny 80s production, but in the right mood, it's pretty great. And I was lucky it was not warped. That's what made me nervous about it being sealed. And very, very happy to find that. In addition to this one here, big highlight for me, Terry Callier, What Color Is Love? originals of this are getting up into the hundreds, multiple hundreds, totally out of reach. This is a very nice 2000 repress. Um, Sounds good, looks good. I was thrilled to find it. The price was fantastic, and yeah, I mean, just it's a it's kind of like the Don Covey record, where it's a folk record, but it's soulful and it's huge. I mean, if you're a fan of Michael Kiwanuka and you know his latest records, how the scale of his sound, even to Marvin Gaye, what's going on, there's a scale to the ambition of what Terry Callier has to say on this record, and there's a beauty to his voice and his songwriting. Um, yeah, I mean, this is one where I've been waiting till I found the record to really dive into the record. I just knew it was well regarded, and every description I'd read put it right in my wheelhouse. And yeah, I mean, these Larry John Wilson, I mentioned before, I found that Bonnie Prince Billy single. He's another artist like this. He's kind of a country funk artist who I love. Um, and as I said, the Don Covey, like, anytime an artist is like really blurring the lines between the blues and soul and funk and jazz, and those musics are they're so connected, they're so related. They're all the roots basically, or they're all some immediate extension of the roots of American music, and having them all thrown in a mixing pot and done successfully is just a dream. This is a great record. Thrilled to find it. And my last Amoeba find, not necessarily the last thing I found while at Amoeba, but the last thing I'll show you here because I was so happy to find it. This is I think a second pressing on Factus of Joy Division's Closer. Huge want list record, something I'm looking for every time I go to the store. One that I had passed up a nice clean copy because I didn't have the $40 at the time or whatever, and then you feel like, well, I missed my one shot at getting a nice clean copy, and I didn't want to repress because I have original pressings of the other Joy Division records, and so I was thrilled to get this. Nice VG Plus copy, plays beautifully. Classic record, but over the moon to find it. So that was our dig at Amoeba, and it was great. The whole time just kind of bumping around and comparing stacks, and people would offer you things. I mean, Alex, I remember, offered me a used copy of the Iron and Wine's The Woman King EP, which is just one of my absolute favorite all-time records. It took me a while to decide what to do about it because I have a copy, but it's still on the East Coast, and it was tempting to just replace it. But bumping into Jim and seeing what he was picking up, and he made some suggestions, and I didn't pick up everything that everybody suggested, which is a bummer. I picked up a lot, as you can see, but just getting to have those conversations, getting to know what people are into and what they're looking for and what they're excited by, and even just hearing Sherv kind of his feelings on this new store versus the old one as we're digging, and he I remember he kind of was like, yeah, well, it's okay now, it's not so crowded, but it looks like it might get crowded, and it was like prophetic. I mean, the crowds just moved in, and the store was much less comfortable after that happened. So we got out of there. We went and had some lunch at the place that Andrew and I always stop at, right around the corner from Freak Beat whenever we have these digs together. A great lunch, kind of comparing pickups and talking music, and I was talking what's coming up on Record Store Day. We went out the day before Record Store Day. It was just lots of fun. It was just a really great day. And then we popped into Freak Beat briefly, and as I always do at Freak Beat, I hit their folk section. They just always seem to have stuff that nobody else has. Case in point, I found this 5-hand reel, which is Dick Gaughan's first band, or maybe not his first band, but a band that Dick Gaughan was in. I'm a great fan of his, and so I was thrilled to find this. It's a beautiful, clean copy. UK copy on, what is this, on RCA? I don't know what it's on. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Haven't really had time to listen to this one actually, but I know it'll be great. And another 5-hand reel here. Again, Dick Gaughan's early band, and this is UK folk, a Scottish folk band, but there's a bit of electric guitar. There's a bit of a modernization of the sound. I think this one maybe is live, or if it's not, it feels that way. You can feel the blurring of the line between traditional folk and kind of exciting rock. I mean, just the vibe of rock, or like the mood that, like, oh, this is kind of a hip, interesting band with something to say. That's one of my favorite things about UK folk is I know to the uninitiated it can sound like you're just listening to a bunch of songs about kings and castles from centuries ago, but there was this moment in the 70s where this music really had something to say to young people, and this music always has a lot to say about politics and revolution and the people's opinion of how the world should run and where the injustices are, and yeah, I don't know. Just very happy to find it. I also was able to find a couple Bothy Band records that were, at a steal of a price, so I grabbed those and handed them off to Sherv, hoping he enjoyed those. I don't know if they're necessarily his wheelhouse, but there's great music on them. And then I looked up on the wall. At Freakbeat, the wall is kind of these beams that run across the ceiling, and there's records on them. And I saw just an all-time grail, something I think many of us can relate to wanting a copy of. I found Albert King's Born Under a Bad Sign. This is a Yellow Label Stax record. And it was, compared to what they go for, it was a nice price. There's a little bit of tape. Somebody has, scotch taped a little seam split here up in the corner, and I think that knocks the price down a good bit, and I'm very happy. It's a beautiful VG Plus copy. Thrilled to have it. Incredible classic record, searing electric Chicago blues. Yeah, what more can you want? Just kind of the perfect way to end this huge epic dig with just an all-time grail. And yeah, so I went outside. I had my goodies. I went outside. I handed Sheriff his records. Had a bit more of a chat, and then it was time to head home and take my daughter to soccer practice. But yeah, I mean, as you can see, it was a fruitful dig, but it was meeting up with everybody and getting to hang out and meet these guys in real life, and kind of, I think the cool thing was that you never know what kind of connection you're going to have with somebody that you've only exchanged comments with on YouTube, and finding that everything that you thought was there via YouTube was there tenfold in person was really a treat. All the guys were just great guys. I mean, it was just great to see them all, and great to hang out. And I really hope we get a chance to do it again. Dave, you're gonna have to come back to LA so that we can make this a tradition. And yeah, I mean, I've kept you guys long enough, so thanks for checking it out, and talk to you soon, VC.